All right, guys, we're looking at our first lesson on inequalities. So this should be problems number 1 and 2 on your paper. So look at number 1. We see A, and I see this symbol right here. Now notice it does not have an equal to line underneath it, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to find -2. So it says right here, there's -2. So we're going to find -2 on my number line. And because it does not have an equal to, we're going to put an open circle at -2. Okay, no equal to sign, open circle. If there was an equal to sign underneath it like that, I'd put a closed circle. All right, open circle. And then I'm going to look at this arrow right here. So see this symbol right here? It says less than, but we're going to think of it as an arrow. And it's an arrow pointing towards the left. And so because it looks like an arrow pointing towards the left, then I'm going to start at -2 on my graph, and I'm going to draw an arrow going towards the left. Bigger. There we go. A little bigger one. Draw an arrow going towards the left. What that means is that my answer is all the numbers that are less than -2. Like for instance, here's -5. Number -5 would be a solution because it's less than -2. -7 would be. But over here, say 1 is not a -1 is not less than -2. All right, go on to our next one, number 2 down here. All right, my number is 4, so I need to put a point at 4. There's 4 right there. So what kind of dot am I going to put? Well, again, there's no equal to line, so we're going to put a open dot at 4. So we'll come right here to 4, and there, I'll put an open circle, okay? Which way is the arrow pointing? Well, again, look at this symbol right here. You see how it looks like an arrow pointing to the right? So we're going to draw an arrow from 4 going to the right. Okay. If you don't put it on the line, if you want to put it like above it, that's fine as well. But I use this just make it really obvious that you have an arrow going to the right. All right. So there's numbers 1 and 2. Let's look at numbers 3 and 4. All right. Number 3. Now I see an equal to line. So right here, right there, you see that equal to line? So that equal to line means we're not going to use an open dot. We're going to use a closed dot. So let's grab my little thing here. We're going to say a closed dot. We're going to do it at -5. So find -5. And we're going to put a closed dot there at -5. Closed dot means it equals -5. And then just like before, this arrow is pointing which way? Well, it's pointing to the right. So I need to draw an arrow going to the right. Find my little arrow tool. Draw my arrow. There we go. My arrow is going towards the right. All right, come down here to number 4. Number 4 also has an equal to line. See right there. There's our equal to line. So we have an equal to line. So that means we need to put a closed point at 3. So right there. There's 3. Put my closed point there. And I have what kind of arrow? Well, that inequality is going to the left. See, there's an arrow pointing to the left. So that means we're less than 3. So I'm going to come up here, grab my arrow tool. I'm going to draw an arrow going to the left. All right, so that's how we do problems 1 through 4. I want you to do 5 and 6 on your own. You can pause the video, and I'm going to go ahead and move on to number 7 and 8. All right, here on number 7 and 8, we're just going backwards. So here they already gave me the graph. I have to write the equation. All right, I want to try to do this with my finger on my computer screen best I can. Probably won't look great, but make it work. All right, so first I need to pick a letter. You can use whatever letter you want. I'm just going to use X, but you can use any letter. Now, you see how we have a number right here? We have a number here at 4, so I'm going to put a 4 there. I see how my arrow is pointing to the left, so I'm going to make my arrow go to the left. And you see right here, we have an open circle, not a closed circle. So I don't put an equal to line on it, so that right there is my answer. Let's look at number 8. For number 8, well, where's my dot at? My dot's at 0, so I'm going to put an X. I'm going to put 0. My arrow this time is pointing to the right, so I'm going to draw my inequality symbol pointing to the right. And because my dot is a closed circle, I need to put an equal to line underneath it. And there we go. That's my answer for number 8. Now, if you use different letters, that's fine. You can use A or B or your initial. Doesn't matter. Whatever letter you want. So that's how we use 7 and 8. 9, 10, 11, and 12 are all the same as those. So go ahead and try the next 4 problems. Hit pause on the video. All right, and so now that brings us to numbers 13 on. Now, 13 on, if I flip through, you'll see they don't look quite as simple as the ones we saw earlier. They're mixed up. Sometimes the letters on the right side, sometimes there's negatives in place. It's just not quite the same, all right? That makes a difference. So to do these, we're going to see how to use Desmos, okay? So this first one right here, I'm going to bring Desmos in. Shrink this down a little bit too. Right. Desmos. Desmos all the way over here. All right. Now, just like we've done in other things, Desmos only works if I use the letter X. Okay. So when I do type number 13, I'm going to type in negative X less than negative 5. Okay. Negative X less than negative 5. And then I'm going to look at the graph. Now, you see how there's a dotted line right here? Dotted line means an open circle. But I could have figured that out just by looking at the sign right here. You see how my sign does not have an equal to line underneath it. So no equal to line. We're going to do an open circle. Well, where's the open circle going to be at? Well, on Desmos, I see right there. I'm going to click, and it's at positive 5, not negative 5, positive 5. So on my number line, I'm going to put an open circle at positive 5. Okay, like that. And then you see how Desmos is shaded on one side or the other? Whatever side it's shaded, that's which way the line goes. So here, Desmos is shading to the right. So that means my arrow is going to go to the right. So I'm going to come up here and draw my arrow going to the right. All right. Get rid of that. Let's try number 4. All right, number 4 says negative 3. It says greater than or equal to. I'm going to bring my little keyboard up. You'll see down here you have all those signs available. So we just pick the one that looks like it. It looks like that one. And then X, right? Notice now we have a solid line on Desmos. That means we're going to use a solid point, close point. Click the dot. I see, oh, negative 3. So we're going to put a closed circle at negative 3. There it is. And then which way is the line going to go? My arrow going to go? Well, it's shaded to the left, so I need to draw my arrow going to the left. So there we go. It needs to look like that. All right. So all the rest of them should be like that. Just type them into Desmos just like they look. Use X, and then whatever way it's shading, that's which way you draw your arrow. All right, and that's it.